and gentlemen, welcome to the 2026 Piscataway Memorial Day Parade, where we honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Coming up, we have the American Legion Color Guard, Matt Fogarty and Howie Snyder. Howie and Matt.
Your next group is Piscataway Junior ROTC and High School Colonel Richard Kerr.
Oh my goodness.
Please welcome Grand Marshal Brian Waller and his lovely wife Paulette and two lovely puppy dogs.
Yes. Duncan and Captain. Good morning. We have our Piscataway Police Department Rescue 1 truck. Good morning.
We have our honoring flags, the Post 261 Auxiliary President, Dorothy Twist. We have Pauline Stevens, Carly Jelinski, and Janice Frank.
We love you, Rachel! We love you!
The feeling is mutual.
Thank a veteran today. Thank a veteran today.
American Legion Post 261, Commander Nick Sorrentino, float driven by Gary Santoro, with Legionnaires, auxiliary members, and Sons of the American Legion.
Thank you, ladies.
Poppy Queen Catherine Martin and Poppy Princess Cora Ruddy, driven by Alexander Giambra.
The most handsome driver in the parade, I will say. Thank you. Approaching the review stand is the Piscataway Elks Lodge 2414.
Our next float approaching the review stand is the Piscataway Knights of Columbus and Columbiettes Council 11017.
Red, white, and blue right there, looking good. David, how are you, brother? Everybody's good. Hello.
Hello, Knights. Good morning. Hi, Melissa. Hello. Hey. Oh, it's so close. Joan has it on. Good morning. Hello, sweet pupper.
We'll figure it out later, okay? We have your lunches if you guys are hungry and want to eat.
Next, we have the Town Council, Gabriel Cahill, Michelle Lombardi, Sharon Carmichael, Dennis Espinoza, Frank Urin, Laura Lieberwitz, and Sarah Rashad.
The bike ride.
Good morning.
Michelle, wait, Cheryl, here.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Allie. Piscataway Township Police Director, Stiff. Good morning.
Morning.
Assemblyman Joe Danielson.
Good morning.
Piscataway, best place to live in America.
Now we have the Piscataway Democrat Organization members, float driven by Steve Slatsky. Steve is a Vietnam vet. Thank you for your
Thank
service,
you for your
Steve.
service, Steve. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
USA, USA,
USA.
Good morning. Next up, the Piscataway Republican Organization.
Now we have the Progressive Democrats, Stacy Berger, Rashad Kulut, Viola Stone, and Betsy Almack.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love the outfit. You want yours? Right here.
Up next are the Piscataway Seniors with Amy Bauman and Mary Beth Wheeler. We've got 2 buses of Piscataway Seniors. Thank you very much, seniors, for making it out here.
Dynamic senior group here in Piscataway Township.
Hey, baby, that's what we're up to now. I want to know.
Wrestle you in the middle of the street.
Don't go over here so I can take my head.
Let's hear it for our seniors, everyone.
How was jury duty? Did you hang anybody?
Way to go, Amy. Good morning, seniors.
I'm over here. Down here. Down. Lower. Good. Wanna be able to see me?
Let's not forget the wonderful people driving the buses, the Piscataway Department on Education.
Barbara.
Good morning.
Barbara. They're gonna face this way. Where they're gonna turn and face this way.
I hear our Piscataway Super Chiefs coming.
We're gonna elbow
But not
the,
before.
grandparents
Yeah.
again, right, just so you know.
The amazing Super Chief.
Let's pick these up. Allie, go stand by Grandpa.
Judah, come here.
We have our Piscataway Township Board of Education President Nancy Salgado Cowan. Piscataway Township Board of Education, good morning.
And what other way to follow up the Board of Education but Ken Zampella and the amazing Super Chiefs! Woo! Go band! Go band! Good morning.
Happy Memorial Day, bud.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We've got about 60 members to the Super Chiefs.
Well done, Super.
That was fantastic.
Let's hear it for our Piscataway Super Chief Marching Band.
Kim, I was in marching band in high school, and it's so nice to be on this side to watch them perform.
Absolutely. Stunning performance. Now we're followed by our Little League Division, Director Frank Earn, Board Member Vanessa Lopez, leading the 12 and up, 9 and up, and our T-ball teams. Let's hear it for Little League T-ball organizations. Thank you for coming out. Wishing you all a wonderful season. Good morning.
And now we have Kathy Urin, who's the director of the Challengers.
Yay, challengers! Let's hear it! I also see Piscataway softball there. Hi! Woo! Let's hear it!
That is some spirit.
There's Teresa and our recreation vehicle. Our recreation programs are robust and mighty. Next up, the Piscataway Girl Scouts. Elaine Kennedy. Let's hear it for our Girl Scout troop. Thank you for being here. Thank you for marching today. We have some brownies and daisies too pulling up the back. Good morning.
It's nice to see so many Girl Scouts in Piscataway.
Let's hear it, Girl Scouts.
And let's hear it for the leaders too. They do a lot of work. I used to be there. You're welcome.
Say thank you.
How are you?
I'm out.
Next up, we have Patrick Bellardo and Troop 67, the Boy Scouts.
Let's hear it for the Scouts, everyone. Woo! Hello. We have Fred Avedo and the Cub Scouts, Pax and Dens, Jeff Sales, and the Piscataway soccer team.
That's a terrible way to feel, but it's a hard It's true.
Now we start with our fire departments, as you might be able to hear. The lead truck is the New Market Fire Department.
Hey, Newmarket.
Thank you for your service, New Market.
Thank you. Let's hear it for Newmarket.
again to Newmarket.
Next up, Arbor Fire Department. It looks like North Stelton may be in between. We have North Stelton actually coming up. Let's hear it for North Stelton.
Driving up slowly is the Possumtown Fire Department. Everybody wave and say hey and thank you.
Morning, Possum Town.
Possumtown.
Nice to see you.
Hey, how are you?
You as well. Nice to see you. And followed by Possum Town, River Road Fire Department.
Next, we have the Arbor Fire Department.
They have a flag. Say thank you, firefighters.
Hello, Arbor Hose. Hello, thank you for being here today and thank you for your service.
Nice to see you them in dress uniform.
Yes. Good morning. Same. Good morning. Good morning. Next up, the Holmes Marshall Ladies Auxiliary. Let's hear it for the Holmes Marshall Ladies Auxiliary.
And the auxiliary leads off the Holmes Marshall Fire Department.
Hey, that's Butterscotch now.
What do you say? Oh, wow. Thank you.
All right.
And following the fire department is Nicholas Lombardi with the Piscataway Emergency Management Team.
Let's hear it for our OEM team. Morning, Sue.
We would like to thank Parade Coordinator Colleen Pagano and Dorothy Twist.
Parade lineup, Esther Baita and Sue McAndrews.
And announcers Kim Lane.
And Rachel Giambra.
Couldn't have done it without you, Kim.
Oh, thank you so much, Rachel. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming out in this not the best weather, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a safe and reflectful Memorial Day. Thank you.